right, guys, today is day 4. Welcome back. I didn't post it last night, but we're just gonna post. Anyways, so today I want to start talking about multiplying your money, right? Talking about investments, compounding, side hustles, anything that you can do with the money you've already earned, saved, to start making more money. Your gold, your money should be making money. That's how every financially literate person makes their passive income. They take their gold and they make it do other things. Whether it send it out for a loan. If you trust someone, you can give them money and they'll give you money for giving you that money. Great, do it. Most people don't get that option. So you can find things like investments. I mean, you can just buy into the S&P. That's a great investment. It's almost 7 to 10% every year, and then you don't do anything. So that of all things, I mean, everybody should know about the stock market if you're through high school. And then you should also know that it compounds. So every time that you get 10% and you put that 10% back in, well, now you have 110% for it to keep going up. And then next time you get 10% of that, 110%. So you now have 121%, right? It goes up and up and up and up. It's great. It's great. We love compounding. I mean, that's one of our fundamentals. We need to be capitalizing on that because when it comes to trading, I mentioned it a little briefly last video. Back when I started trading, I would take out a lot of my profits, like sometimes 200 to 500 bucks at a time, and it killed the account. So I spent the money that I was earning from trading, and it never got the chance to properly compound. So my account always sat at like 2-3 grand, which was great because the way I was trading, it still seemed fine until I lost it all. Okay, it wasn't fine. But it was that compounding that I missed out on. If I didn't take any of that money out, the account could have been sitting at 5 or 10 grand. I mean, I made a lot of money and I spent it all on computers and travel and trips and cars and so don't do that, but take advantage of that compounding effect, you know. Every time you get 10% from your money, put it back in. And then you have, you know. The other thing is, and I'm sure a lot of you are aware of it these days, but the dollar is losing value. I mean, inflation's been a pretty big deal, and if you are an adult and you do pay for your own groceries, then you definitely understand because like food is expensive these days. It's not your fault, but holding on to cash can be your fault. If you only hold on to cash, like you just don't put it in a bank account that gives you good returns, then you should be finding another way to get it to keep compounding while you're not using that money. Because again, I don't want you to be spending that 10%. I'm not saying that 10% should be spent in bad ways, but if you know that you're going to get that 10% back that you've saved, took you, I mean, I know it's only been 4 days, but realistically, if you've saved for 6 months and it's that 10% that you've saved, you wouldn't want to just give it to anybody because if you gave it to someone who doesn't know what they're talking about, then there's a good chance you're going to get scammed or they're going to get scammed or you're just not going to make your money back. So if you have a friend that's great at flipping cars, then it's not a terrible idea to go give him 500 to 1,000 bucks to go flip a car and then split the money with him. Because that's beneficial for both of you. And that's a way, if you trust them, if they're good at what they're doing, then that's a way to get them moving and yourself moving. And you didn't have to do anything. You just had to give them money. So that's, if you're not much of a side hustle person, like I'm not great at flipping cars. I've never flipped a car in my life. I wouldn't give myself that money to go flip a car. If I wanted to go make money, I would take it and I'd go trade because that's what I know. So you got to find someone who understands what you're trying to make money off of, right? So if you have a friend who's good at jailbreaking laptops, right? Then you can give them $100 to go invest in a couple Chromebooks and go jailbreak those, and then you can resell each of those for $50, right? Like there's things you can do that you don't have to do, right? You go find someone who knows it and makes money off of it already, and then invest in them so that you two can split that profit, and then you can keep investing it and they can do whatever the hell they want to do with it too. So, in the book, The Richest Man of Babylon, they go over this guy's life savings. He spent a whole year saving 10%, and then he gave it to a brickmaker. And the brickmaker went to the Phoenicians, and the Phoenicians were going to sell him jewels, but the jewels were fake, they were glass. So they got scammed, and he essentially lost all of his money because you can't sell glass for the price of jewels. I mean, obviously. So he lost all of his money. And then the next year he did it again. You know, he has already had this habit of saving 10%. So he saved 10% and he saved it. And then the next year he gave his 10% from the second year to a shield maker, and the shield maker goes and buys bronze, and then he pays a rental. So our character, the one who's been saving 10%, gets paid back every 4 months or so on his payment for the bronze, and then he just has this income. He doesn't do anything for it. The shield maker makes money, he sells his products, he takes the bronze and does what he does, and then he pays back our character. He pays back who gave him the money. And then his mentor comes back around and he's like, "So what have you been doing with that money?" And he's like, "Well, I've been spending it on food, and I have a nice cloak or a nice jacket now, and I want to buy a nice horse." Like, and then the mentor kind of tells him, he's like, "You do eat the children of your savings. How do you expect them to work for you?" Well, that kind of made a flip switch in our character's brain, because he's like, "Oh, shit, well, that money could be making money for me too? All right." And then later on, they go over it. And so, what I'm trying to get across to you is that you can keep putting this money somewhere. You just got to make sure it's in the right place. Because if you're going to go to buy jewelry, you wouldn't go find a carpenter, right, to go buy you jewelry. I mean, frankly, he's a carpenter. If you want to invest in him, you should give him money to go build something, not invest in jewelry, which, even if he's wearing it, that's not his profession. That's not what he's been doing for 5, 10, however long. Okay. So you got to find someone who knows what you're trying to make money off of. Right. So, like, if you are into vending machines and you don't want to do the vending machines yourself, but you have the money to start putting vending machines down in places, great. Find someone who's actually run vending machines before and hire them out. Essentially, just pay them. It's called outsourcing. And that's from the first book I mentioned, The 4-Hour Work Week. Outsourcing is great. It's kind of the whole idea of multiplying your money. You don't do anything and you pay other people to do it because you make more off of paying them to do it than you would doing it yourself. That's multiplying money. To I want to go over a little bit of protecting money, which is law 4. So 3 and 4. I want to go over both of these because they kind of go together. Like, making your money multiply is kind of like on basketball, your offense. You know, you're trying to get the ball in the hole. That's where you get your money. And then you're trying to protect it. You're trying to keep the other team from stealing your money. You're trying to keep the other team from getting the ball in the hole. So we want to guard our treasures too. So a little bit about what I was just talking about. You don't want to give it to the wrong person, for sure. But there's other things beyond that. I mean, risk management is one of the big things we're going to be talking about, and where to set your stop losses when you're trading. But if you're not trading and you're just here for the saving money aspects of this, then I want to go over the whole, you shouldn't be gambling, okay? Because the chance that you actually make money is so low. And the people who do make money off of it are essentially sponsored by the casinos that they go to gamble at, because they know they're going to lose money. It's how they bring in more people. So just avoid gambling altogether, okay? It's what we're doing. A lot of people will consider it gambling because it's like, oh, you're betting on price going up or down. But the way we do it, like, we do it with a sense of knowledge. I Here, in our video yesterday, we drew this out. We drew these couple lines out, right? We were watching this move, and I mentioned before it came back down, I was talking about this area when we were on the 1 minute, okay? So when we were talking about it yesterday, we were on the 1 minute time frame and it had just hit this point. It had just made this, and I was telling you it made a bottom. And if price ever came back down to this, there's a lot of orders sitting here. Well, look what happened, okay? I mean, you saw it zoomed out. It moved up. It swept out those orders and it moved up, and it might not stay up because that is pretty extended, but it went up. And we knew that it was going to go up because of the things that we know about our trades. It's not the same as I'm going to put money into this machine and hopefully it gives me something back out of it. Okay, it's not the same thing. We're not gambling, okay? We are trading. There is a value for what we put in and what we get out. I don't want to make this video about risk management because I think that should be a video of itself. But I do want you to understand that when you are taking trades, the whole point is to protect your assets. You don't want to just lose your money. If you're not protecting your money when you're trading, then it's all going to be gone. And every trader loses money. Every trader does lose money, but it's whether or not you lose all of it, or it's whether or not you lose your whole account. Okay, because that sucks. And I don't think you have to go through that. I do think you have to lose money because that's kind of part of the game, but I don't think you have to lose your whole account to become successful. I think if you actually implement things that people tell you, then you could do it without losing your account. Will you? Will you implement everything that people tell you? Probably not. Not until you learn it the hard way. So, in this, there's a balance, okay? You can't multiply without protection. You can't multiply your money without being a little frugal with it. Okay. When you go out and you put your money in an investment, you don't want to just put it in the next EV brand that's going to come out. Because if you bought into Rivian thinking that it's going to be the same as Tesla 4 years ago, then you would be screwed. It's not the same. And as much as you might see a Rivian here and there, their stock price has gone down since 2020. It's not like that wouldn't have been a protective decision. Okay. If you bought into Tesla, that might have, because they're the most widespread EV in America. I don't know about the world, but I know every town you go to in America, there's at least a Tesla. Every town. Protect. Okay. Without both of those, then you're just going to be living paycheck to paycheck, and you'll just have a savings account that you're never going to touch. I don't want you to be spending it, but I don't want you to be afraid to invest it. Okay, those are two different things. If I'm spending it on nicotine, I'm never getting it back. But if I'm spending it on Zyn stock, then there's a good chance I might get it back, even in dividends. Okay, the chance that their whole stock goes in the gutter is pretty low. I mean, right? Um, I don't know. I think that's pretty good for today. Um, I think since it's only day 4, I can't imagine you guys having a lot of money set aside for that 10%. I know for me, I only have like $8 in my wallet right now. So maybe there's nothing you can do with that. But there's always something you could do with Facebook. There's always cheap things that are worth more than people are selling them for. If you can find something like that, maybe go flip it, maybe go sell it, go increase that 10%, because we're going to get rolling here real soon in the next week or two. And if you don't have any money saved or built up, then that's going to make it hard for you to be trading with us. So wealth grows when you multiply it, but it only survives when you guard it. Subscribe, hit that like button. I know it feels kind of short for me today, but I got to get to work. So I'll see y'all in the next one.